enhance your organization's security by changing your mindset. My name is Jason Rutherford, and I'm the Managing Partner of Model Technology Solutions. So in this presentation, we'll discuss security and what it looks like today, Gartner's take on security trends, the leader in integrated security within organizations, and then finally how Model can help. So let's first begin by talking about security. What are we securing? So first we're going to talk about data, right? We want to secure data at rest, in transit, and through a variety of scenarios, such as on a corporate device or a personal device or a mobile device. So there's a lot of aspects to the data. Next, we want to talk about identities. And so using intelligent and risk-based analysis to secure identities. So as an example, a user logs in, and then if the user suddenly logs in again from another country, that should be identified. We want to secure endpoints, whether they're corporate endpoints or personal endpoints, and we want to define what the minimum state required to access resources from a compliance purview would look like. The applications are incredibly important because they're the vehicle in which we access application data. So whether they're on-prem or they're SaaS applications, we need to get them secured. The infrastructure. We want to establish rules around when our administrators can access and administer the infrastructure. Finally, our network. And so public, private, making sure it's properly segmented, those are the elements that we're talking about when we identify security or we talk about security. So ideally, they are integrated, whatever we're using to secure these elements with, they're integrated for a complete view of your digital estate. And best case scenario, they have some analytics. Additional best case scenario, you have automated responses to increase your security posture as an organization. So Gartner defined in 2021 some trends, and these trends are security and risk trends. And so a great example is vendor consolidation. And so 75% of CISOs have more than 16 tools doing security. Identity first is a trend because misused credentials are the top technique used in breaches. Managing machine identities. To develop an enterprise strategy for machine identity, the secrets and certificates is all more important these days. And remote work is just going to be work moving on. So however users need to access their data, not only do they need that access, but they need apps, support, all of the things that they used to have when they were on-prem. So this is where that mindset shift comes in. When we think of integrated security, when we think of security leaders in business environments, I don't know if Microsoft comes to everybody's mind, but it should. Here's some justification. So if we take a look at the 2021 Magic Quadrant for Access Management, Microsoft is named the leader. If we take a look at the Unified Endpoint Management Tools in 2021, Microsoft's the leader. If you looked back in 2016, 2017, I don't think Microsoft was in the top right corner. They were not in the leaders in these quadrants. But over the years, their focus has shifted to becoming a leader in these quadrants. Enterprise information archiving and endpoint protection platforms. And this is a pattern that we've seen over time and time again, from the SMS, SCCM, configuration management days to what we're looking at here now. So Microsoft has defined their zero trust infrastructure, and they've put out this view of it. And their motto is to never trust and always verify. So if we take a look at these examples, having identities, humans and non-human, having a strong authentication, a request enhancement, doing a risk assessment of the authentication, or forcing, in some cases, another enhancement in their authentication because the risk was assessed to be great. You have device management, whether they're corporate or personal. Device compliance plays a role in this, and that might change how the data gets accessed. And that's just the front end piece of it. So being able to classify, label, and encrypt data, or have applications have different levels of access at different time through technologies like PIM is important. And that's just, again, scratching the surface. And so if you take your mindset and shift it from Microsoft's not a contender in security to now we want to have a consolidated vendor tool set with integrations, and Microsoft is making a lot of headway in the security realm, what do we do next? So if we looked at it from a maturity model perspective, we would want to assess where your organization sits on the maturity model for a zero trust journey. Are you in the first stage where you're using things like multi-factor authentication and providing single sign-on in cloud apps? Are you in the second stage, for identity as an example? Are you in the second stage using real-time analytics for user behavior? Or are you able to dynamically enforce policies after they've been granted to protect against violation? These are just the tip of the iceberg, right? So lots of elements from a where are you at in the zero trust journey. To kind of navigate those, this is how model can help. So first we can assess. Here's a great example of an output of an assessment that we do for endpoint devices. This is a maturity model that we had put together on unified endpoint management. And you can see the different categories that we have: management infrastructure, configuration management, updates and servicing, applications, and endpoint security. And we go through an assessment in your organization and rate on a maturity model scale from 1 to 5 based on data points where your individual categories fall on the scale. And we provide a report in this so that you can take actionable steps to improve your unified endpoint management. So that's just one example. We have a project team and we have a managed services team. So depending on your need, specifically, we can address it from a you need more hands all the time perspective and SLAs and have objectives, and you want us to be an extension of your team, to the ability to implement and go away, provide our expertise, our knowledge, work alongside your team to transfer that knowledge and then go away. But let's say you did want us to stick around and become a partner with you and help manage elements of your business. This is an example of what our ServiceNow portal looks like and how you would interact with our managed services team. These are the types of requests that we can help handle within your organization. And finally, we can help by reporting. This is a custom dashboard built in Power BI that leverages Graph API, Azure API data, and the Microsoft Security Center data, or M365 Defender, Defender for Devices data, to take the information that might be considered pretty complex on that portal and boil it down to what's my risk to the organization in a percentage form, the number of exposures, and the number of devices that are impacted. The bottom half of this report is selectable to show you users tied to devices. Obviously, we're not going to show that. But this is how model can help engage. So the mindset piece of it, consolidating security vendors when you're looking at protecting data, identities, endpoints, applications, infrastructure, network. We encourage you to look at the Microsoft Zero Trust white paper. Again, I'm not sure if that's what you think about when we talk about security and securing your organization, but shifting that mindset, I would encourage you to look at that Zero Trust white paper. And from there, assess the Microsoft tool set. So here's a few: Defender for Cloud Apps, Defender for Identity, Defender for Endpoint, Compliance Center, Endpoint Manager, Privilege Identity Manager. And finally, contact us to discuss our project and managed services and where we can be of assistance to help. Thank you. Here's our contact info. You can find us at model-technology.com, and my email address is jason.rutherford@model-technology.com.